So we are looking at what should be just absolutely immense review for you, this first lesson. Oh, it gets harder. Please don't get too comfortable, but this first lesson is super simple. Haven't you been substituting and eliminating since you were like young, 8th grade or something? So I have picked out the substitution. I thought we'd go through and do all the substitution ones, and then we'll do the elimination ones. Okay? Now, Porto? Yep. Now, when we substitute, what do? What's the first thing we have to do if we're told we have to use substitution? Get a variable by itself. And I recommend, if you have a variable that's already by itself, in other words, 2x has a 2, I wouldn't use that one. I wouldn't use this one because it has a negative. I would use this one right here. Now, could you do it with the other ones? Absolutely, but it's going to be a little harder. So always, if you have that ability, find the one that has nothing attached to it, and then get it by itself. So we're going to rewrite that equation as x equals 4 minus 2y, right? Move the 2y to the other side. Then take this thing that x equals and plug it in to the other equation for the x. So we're substituting this in place of the x. So this equation then looks like this. So I took that circled thing, put it right here in this circled thing, right there it is, and then minus the y equals 3. So now I can distribute. Regular distributive. Go ahead and collect like terms. And then don't I just have a regular equation to solve now? So I'll subtract 8. So negative 5y equals negative 5. And y equals 1. Now sometimes we get so excited we think we're done, but we're not done because we have to solve for x and y. So I know what y is. So now I can come up anywhere up here. But it's easier, I think, right here because x equals 4 minus 2 times 1. So x equals 2, 4 minus 2. And then when we write our answer, we write it as an ordered pair. 2, 1, because this is a line and this is a line, and we are looking for where they cross each other, and they're going to cross each other in a point, x, y. Okay, is all that coming back to you? Yep. Easy peasy. All right, now this one actually is already set up beautifully for substitution because it says y equals already. So we'll take this guy right here and plug it in right here because that's what y equals. So x plus 1 squared equals 5. Now what? I'm going to have to FOIL it, distribute this out. So x plus 1, x plus 1. So x plus, now I'm just foiling, x squared plus x plus 1 equals 5. That's a regular FOIL. Do not just square this. You got to square the whole quantity. You got to FOIL it out. Now what? Collect like terms, clean it up. So let's see, I got 1x squared, 3 x's. Subtract the 5. What kind of an equation is this right here? quadratic. And when you have a quadratic equation, you got to get it set equal to 0. So we'll get it set equal to 0 by subtracting 5, right? Subtract 5 from both sides to get 0. Whoops, to get 0. Now what do? You can use the quadratic formula, or what else can you do? Factor. So whatever you want to do, the quadratic formula will always work. This particular problem does factor. Factoring is usually faster, but you don't have to factor. You can use the quadratic formula. Make sure you know the quadratic formula, because not everything factors. So what does this mean then? X equals -4 or +1. But we're not done. That's a lot of work, but we're not done because why? We need to figure out what y is. So again, I like to come up to where my circle is here. And if x is -4, if I put -4 in here, what will y be? -3. And then if I put in a 1, what will y be? 2. So then I write my answer. This time I have 2 ordered pairs. -4, -3, or 1, 2. Remember, when you write your ordered pairs, it's always x, y. Now, a minute ago, back here when we did this problem, I said we have 2 lines crossing each other, and that's the point where they cross each other. How in the world did I get 2 answers to this then? That doesn't make sense. Well, see this equation right here? He's not a line. He has a square. If you have a squared, what shape are you? Think back, your BFF. You are a parabola. So this equation is actually a sideways parabola. You don't need to know that. I'm just telling you. That's a sideways parabola. And that's a line. How many places do they intersect? 2. That's why we got 2 answers to that problem. Okay? All right, there's one more substitution. I ran out of room, so I erased it. Take a look at it. What variable do you think it might be easiest to get by itself? The very first x. And if we get it by itself, we'll add y over, so x equals 4 plus y. Does that make sense? Now what do? Take this guy right here and plugging in right here. Remember, you're plugging it in for x. So 2y minus 2 times 4 plus y equals 4? No, 3. I'll plug it right in here. So 2y minus 2 times 4 plus y equals 3. All right. Now what? Distribute. So 2y. Now watch it. That's a -2. So it's going to be -8 minus 2y. They cancel, don't they? So what does it say? -8 equals 3? Does -8 ever equal 3? No. So what does that mean? What's going on here? There's no solution. So geometrically, in other words, if I drew a picture, what's happening? There's no point in common. These 2 lines are parallel. If you graphed these, which you don't have to, but if you wanted to, if you graphed them, they would be parallel to each other. And when we're doing all this, we're trying to figure out where they cross. Well, if they're parallel, they aren't going to cross. So that has no solution. And we knew that because we got a set equation here that's wrong. Okay? All right. Let's do some elimination now. I happen to like elimination better, but everybody has his or her own favorite. Substitution, elimination, you get the same answer, it doesn't really make any difference. Number 2, it says eliminate. Who remembers how this works?
You get like 2 of the numbers with the same variable, the same number, and then you can cross them out and cancel.
If one's positive and one's negative, right? So what do you think might be the easiest thing to get to cancel here? Multiply the bottom equation by 3. Now, so that means the top equation is staying the same. And you're multiplying the entire second equation by 3. So we're going to get 15x plus 3y, and even this gets times by 3, so what is that, 72? Actually, we add straight down, because when we add, won't these two cancel? That's why we make one positive and one negative, so when we add them, they're gone. So we have 17x equal to 85. And now we divide by 17. So x equals 5. But just like with substitution, you're not done, because you need to plug back in and find y. Now, where you plug in doesn't make one single bit of difference, so plug it in wherever it looks like it might be easier. I think I'm just going to plug it in the top equation, but you can plug it in wherever you want. So 2 times 5 is 10, minus 3y equals 13. Subtracting 10 from both sides and dividing by -3 gives me -1. And then I write my answer as the ordered pair, 5, -1. So these two lines intersect. If you wrapped them, they would intersect at the point 5, -1. Okay, so let's see this one.
I just know I have a hard time. I'm like totally, I have to